to the Naples Money Managers News You Can Use. I am Dawn Litchfield Brown, and this is
Marcus Bickle. Good to see you all.
Yeah, we haven't been here for a little bit. We've been having some camera issues, so we hope they are all resolved because we are not exactly the best technicians when it comes to this.
True.
We are investment people, not camera technicians. So that's our excuse. We're sticking to it. Anyway, I'm going to do a couple of little things of news you can use, I believe, right now. Got the mic in my hand, so if it makes a little bit of noise, I'm sorry. Put my mic down. Okay, I'm putting my mic down, I've been told by the director back here. Couple of things you want to know about right now is the changes in tax law come in 2026 as far as donations are concerned. I'm going to make it quick because we tend to be too long. Bottom line is, make double your donations this year so you can make sure you get the full advantage of them, because next year there will be some changes. The one good change will be if you are somebody who does not itemize at all.
Yes.
The amount that you can put on there is, I think, $1,000 for a single person and $2,000 for a couple. Those were not there at all in 2025, so that'll be for 2026. But if you're trying to, so you might want to bunch any of your donations right now. However, I don't believe bunching them into a donor advised fund is going to work. So it needs to be a qualified 501c3 that you're making those donations to. So, and almost all of our clients make donations.
Yes,
every
no,
year.
absolutely. Very philanthropic.
We have great clients. They're very philanthropic. So that was one of the things I wanted to talk about. The other thing that I was going to share with you was, as we're growing older and our client base is getting older, we're getting more and more people who are passing on, and we're learning all the time.
Yeah.
So a couple of things you can do, especially if you're the remaining spouse, is make sure that you have an authorized signer on everything. Bank accounts, credit cards, your electric bill, your Comcast bill, your internet, your phone, every possible thing that you can think of. Just put an authorized signer on there. It doesn't mean they have authorization to go in and spend everything on your credit card. That technically they could. They could, but they don't.
But this is someone you trust, people.
Right, and they don't get a card. You'd say specifically, do not give them a card. You tell Comcast, this is an authorized person on my account. This person can call and make changes to my account. Should I be unable, not just deceased, but just unable.
Absolutely.
You could just be in the hospital for, 2 weeks.
And this is important, folks. A lot of us have Amazon accounts. Perhaps you have subscriptions through your Amazon account. I get my dog food delivered. So if I'm in the hospital for a month,
no dog food.
Exactly. I would need someone to take care of that. And that kind of goes to everything. We really don't think about it because so much of our life is bound up in our phones nowadays, depending on how old you are. How much is bound up digitally with all the digital subscriptions we have.
You might not be able to get into your own home.
Absolutely. My home is entirely digital. My wife has never downloaded the apps. She would be in trouble.
He has a smart home. I have a dumb home. So anyway, okay, that's all I wanted to share because we're going to keep it a little bit short. Marcus, let's talk a little bit about the markets.
Yeah, we're really in the home stretch here, folks. We only have a few weeks left in the year. And, we're kind of in a bit of a holding pattern as far as our portfolios go.
Right.
We're very heavily protected. And that's been kind of by choice. There's been a lot of back and forth between the committee about what we should do if the market continues to go up, if the market continues to stabilize.
Yeah, we don't want to be left behind, but...
Correct. But we also don't want to chase the market. That's where you get in trouble. So we've adopted kind of a hybrid strategy where we have rolled some of our options. I'm sure many of us who've heard about that. That increases the risk a little bit, but also has some good tax benefits. And for the most part, we're allowing the options to really protect our account because there are some storm clouds on the horizon, folks.
Right.
We have some, whatever's going down in Venezuela. Who knows? But it's a little destabilizing, and there's a lot of things around that. There's some push and pull between our government, obviously the executive and Congress, like some war power stuff. And then there's just the reality of a potential conflict on our hemisphere. May not happen, may. Who knows?
We have to be ready. You can let my dog in if you'd like to.
Yeah, so we...
I just thought I'd add that.
Absolutely.
But to your point, too, not to your point, but we have all of that going on. There's always something going on.
It's true.
Right? If you go back in history, there's always something going on, whether you know about it or not. On the other hand, I've noticed that places like Macy's had great earnings, and and what was it, Outfitters?
We are seeing a really good Eagle Outfitters, American Eagle Outfitters.
Eagle Outfitters, that's what it was. Okay.
And
Which surprised me.
It is really good showing to see that the retail, especially this time of year because it is
Right.
Christmas, that the retailers are doing really good. So I think, you know, Don's point about things are always happening, whether you know about it or not,
Right.
is a good one, folks. You know, regardless of where you look in history, there's always something going on.
But you have to be ready
You do.
for the worst all the time.
And that's what we do here. That's the kind of disaster planning that, you know, we
Right.
as money managers do for our clients. You know, our portfolios are really designed in many ways for if the market does kind of fall apart. You know, and that's why we're so hesitant to chase these really, really up markets. And trust me, as a portfolio advisor, it's hard. You know, when you see the NASDAQ or, you know, something up 15, 20%, and you're sitting on like a 10, you're like, well,
Right.
you know, what are my clients going to think about that? But you have to remind yourself that that's not what we do. In up markets like this, everything goes up.
Right.
Rising tide raises all ships.
And what we're looking now, though, is to find some opportunities that are up there of stocks that have not participated, that may have a lot more room to grow.
Absolutely.
And where the what do you call it, the seven? what are
The
they
Mag
called?
7.
The Mag 7. The
Yeah, Magnificent Seven.
Have grown so much that maybe now that growth spurt will move a little bit towards some of the other stocks.
There's such a huge part of the indexes that they're causing distortions. My last thing that I wanted to end with, something that we did recently that I'm excited about, is we recently, within the last couple of weeks, bought Netflix.
Yes, we did.
After the split, it split 10 for 1, which we were very excited about because it was an expensive stock. But now that we own it, there's a lot of talk about Netflix potentially being the winning bid for Warner Brothers.
Right.
And that just today, there was a new confirmation that they're the top, they're the current top runner. So if that does go through, that would be really, really good to own for.
Because Warner Brothers would provide what to Netflix?
Warner Brothers is HBO, HBO Max. That would be Harry
DC?
Potter, DC Comics,
Comics.
Game of Thrones. A lot of really, really expensive intellectual properties.
Yeah, that's been an interesting thing to watch if you're going to watch something, because it looks like there's a lot of bids out there, and I think that Warner Brothers has been turning a lot of them down, trying to push that bid up.
Absolutely.
And they probably have been pretty successful at doing that.
I think they're going to get paid a pretty penny for this.
So
Absolutely.
we'll see. But I would like to close with this is a quote that Geraldine Weiss put out. And I don't know how we feel about it these days, but it says, the serious investor knows that among many signposts that point to corporate and investment growth, a rising dividend trend is perhaps the most significant. Is it really still? Or not?
That's
Because if they're paying out in dividends and it's going up, they're not putting it into the company and developing AI and technology.
Exactly. That's a philosophical question right
Yeah,
there.
so-
I don't necessarily agree, but it takes all types in the portfolio.
Life changes.
It does, absolutely.
You know? Life changes. History doesn't in so many ways, but life does. It just adapts to history in a different way.
Very much so.
We're going to close this out. You have anything else you want to
Nope, that's it, folks.
Okay. We want to wish everyone a happy holiday and a safe holiday. And remember, money matters, but most of all, and most importantly, you matter.
Please like and subscribe. We'll see you soon.
Yeah. Take care.